Robert Eckford is back with us here on CEO.CA. He leads the RUA Gold team, who have started an expanded drill program at the Reefton project out on the South Island of New Zealand. RUA is accelerating drilling at this project and are targeting an increase of 300,000 gold equivalent ounces by year end. Rob, good to see you.
Lovely to be back here.
Well, let's get into it. You're targeting again 300,000 gold equivalent ounces at Gold Creek. That's more than doubling your current resource in about, under 6 months. Sounds like an aggressive goal that requires hitting very specific geology. What exactly are you seeing in the Bonanza and Fraternal ore shoots that give you this confidence?
Yeah, I guess when you come out publicly and you set yourself a goal and you hang your hat on the hook and say, we need to achieve this, you're putting your head on the block essentially. And we wouldn't do that unless we were confident with the geology. So we've spent a long time looking at Reefton. We feel like where we're drilling right now is very consistent and predictable. And we put out some drill results on Monday, which every single drill hole hit the structure we were looking at. So we're sitting in a really good place today. We've got another 3,000 meters planned, and we're going to do a resource refresh at the end of the year just to prove that we're going to execute on what we promised we're going to execute on. Mm-hmm. I guess we're targeting this goal because the differentiator for us is we're in New Zealand and the permitting there is the fastest in the world. It's 6 months to get a mine permitted.
And that's is that always been the case, or is that a recent development for the government?
That's a new one. That's the government really pushing to get more mining there, and so we want to take advantage of that.
Right.
If you can get a mine permit in 6 months, you're off to the races, and so you get a re-rate from a valuation perspective, and we want to get that, and so we're drilling hard. We've got 2 rigs going, and everything's hitting the structure, so we feel confident at the stage that we're going to make that target.
Well, when reading the press release about this target you've got, you specifically mentioned transitioning from explorer to developer. So are you talking about moving toward feasibility studies, or are you kind of setting yourself to being acquired by a larger player?
Definitely. I mean, we've spent a long time getting this land package together, and it's the best strategic land package we could ever hope for in New Zealand. It's past producing, it's got high-grade gold and antimony, and so we're definitely not feeling like we're in the stage where we want to sell it. The company itself is a team of people that are company builders. We're not explorationists. We've built mines. We've built them on time, under budget. And the focus is on this high grade because we know we can build these things. We know the capex is somewhere in the 100 to 150 million US range, very bite-sized for a little company like us. And it's going to be a cash producer. There's a company literally that we envelope, just brought out their PFS showing AISC of somewhere in the range of $1,400 US an ounce. Mm-hmm. So this district is really high margin, high grade, and it's exactly what we want to do. So in short answer, we're not looking for a takeout target. Right. We're looking to go into the next phase ourselves.
Well, the fast track permitting process in New Zealand reminds me of our conversation with the minister actually at PDAC this year. He was there kind of talking about this over and over again. You're targeting entry in 2026. Can you walk us through what that timeline looks like and what resource size you need to qualify?
Yeah, and it's amazing that you've sat down with the New Zealand Mines Minister.
Of course,
and he came to Toronto where you met him, and I can't say that I've seen any other ministers in discussions with you promoting the countries that they want to be at. So, I mean, that speaks volumes to New Zealand itself. And you're right, with the resource refresh at the end of the year, we think we have a big enough resource to go into that next phase. And so we'll be looking at starting the studies. We've already got some mine consultants engaged to do a conceptual mine plan for us to really understand what we're going to be building. Mm-hmm. And so by next year, we'll be starting baseline studies, and then we'll be ready to enter the fast track in mid to late 2026. So that's the general strategy where we're operating in the South Island. And we feel like we've got the team to execute that, and we've got the treasury to execute it on it, more importantly.
Mm-hmm. Well, if we can also switch gears and talk about your Glenmorgan project, you're bringing in Verify AI, right, into your target ranking. Interesting tech, but AI is only as good as the data that you feed it, in my opinion. So what specific data sets are you using, and how is this changing your exploration approach?
Sure, and we gave Verify the first test down in Reefton. And as I said, we're hitting the structure every single time. Verify is a great validator of our drill targets. The AI speeds up that process completely. It's not generating a mine plan. It's not generating the exact drill targets for us. It shows us where we should focus our attention. And so in November, we're going to start on our North Island asset. It's Glenmorgan. it's epithermal zone of New Zealand. It's where the monster deposits are, and we're 2.8 kilometers away from RUA Gold's Wharekirauponga deposit. That's 1.4 million ounces at 18 grams a ton. Our geologist, Simon Henderson, discovered the Wharekirauponga deposit, and he's now looking just north of that, adjacent to it, and he sees the exact same surface footprints. So we've been operating there. We've done a lot of surface work over the last 18 months. And you're right, we're putting all of that data into the Verify model. Okay. And we're just at the start of that process of ranking all our targets. We've got 9 drill pads going into the drill application there. And we're really excited to start drilling that at the end of the year this year.
Well, looking at your current cash position and also burn rate, it's, as we talked about, you're all funded through the exploration phase, but what are the key milestones that demonstrate that you're creating real value here? What should investors, like myself, watch for in the next few months?
Yeah, I think what's important for us is we raised $14 million in June, and we're not going to sit and eke that out over the next 24, 36 months. We're here with the 4 drills in our budget, and that sees us drilling very aggressively all the way through to September next year. So we're not trying to eke out cash. We're not here to make this a long play. Okay. We want to operate and really aggressively move forward in New Zealand. Again, the government wants us to do that. So
literally called fast track.
Exactly. We're here to work with what our stakeholders want us to do. And so we're going to drill in Glamorgan at the end of the year. We're going to have 3 rigs turning at Reefton, which in short just means a huge amount of exploration cadence and news coming out to the news flow. So that's catalyst in itself. But then as well as we go through the studies, as we start de-risking the property through more drilling, through doing these baseline assessments, through the fast track program, there's re-rates that come with that. We're not going to say that the 500,000 ounces or the 1 million ounces at Reefton is the end. That's just the beginning. That's the starter pit. And it's more of an Australian approach. You start with 1 million ounces, you know there's upside. We've got a huge amount of targets in Reefton. I think personally, and this is hand-waving CEO stuff, I think it's a 5 to 10 million ounce district because we've got a huge amount of property there, a lot of targets to chase, but we just want to get to our own cash flowing state so that we don't do it in a fully dilutionary type manner.
Well, you've also come out and said you're spending $1 million in marketing for the next 12 to 18 months, which is notable for a company of your size. I think it's interesting. It could suggest that you believe there's a disconnect between your story and its valuation because you're out there talking about awareness all the time and with that kind of commitment. What's the value proposition that, as we close off here, you think is not being recognized at this time and that you want to essentially communicate?
Yeah, I mean, $1 million sounds like a lot of marketing over 18 months, but I mean, these CEO interviews are very expensive. No, but in all seriousness, I mean, a lot of people don't understand what's going on in New Zealand. And so I'm the megaphone to try and tell everyone New Zealand's open for business. The Fraser Index came out and put New Zealand as number 1 in Oceania, above all of Australia. And so the more I can get out and tell investors and get to different sectors, Europe, North America, Australia itself, we've got a huge conference lineup through the next 12 months. So we want to get on the megaphone and say, this is what we're doing as RUA, but also this is what New Zealand's doing as a country, so that investors pay attention. This is, I know it's the first world, but it's an emerging market in terms of mining. No one knows what New Zealand's doing. And so a lot of the spend is going on getting the word out there because, we're trading at a ridiculous, like 70 million market cap company right now on the brink of having 1 million ounces going into production within 24 months. It's very much a disconnect. And every CEO will say, we're undervalued and whatnot. But it's on us to execute. So we put $1 million in marketing, but we've got 12 million going into the ground in New Zealand of that 14 million. So I think it's a sensible mix of money in the ground to actually prove and operate that you're going to create value for shareholders, whilst allocating some to make sure everyone knows what we're doing. Yeah.
Well, we're going to leave it there for now as we, kind of communicate to others about what you're doing. So thank you very much, Rob, for being here.
Lovely to be back.
So you guys can go to ruagold.com to essentially check out the deck, news releases, what have you. But also go to CEO.CA, as always, and search RUA to see what other investors could be saying about the company. Thanks for watching.